Welcome to the Nick and Nick podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Royalty Roofing and Siding. Crown your home and your commercial property and then wrap it with royalty. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you find this content beneficial and a blessing to you, we'd love for you to like, share, and subscribe. Today we have a guest on the podcast. His name is Dr. Jacey Folkers. He is what would you call yourself? I would call you a functional wellness medicine type of doctor, or is medicine not the right term?
Yeah, I mean, we've played with that the title so much. I think functional wellness, functional medicine practitioner, if you will.
Potato kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
And in fact, there's a certification I have. I think it is technically functional medicine, licensed functional medicine practitioner.
Okay.
There's like a literal acronym.
Which means.
Yes.
What specifically? Well, first, thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
I've been trying to set this up a couple times.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
But I really appreciate you taking the time. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about the functional medicine route, because like what we talked about, what I was doing was traditional chiropractic, and I'm sure you started out that way.
Yes.
And then naturally you evolved into this functional wellness model that seems like it's served you well and is going to serve you well in the future.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your trajectory that you've been, your career path and your trajectory, and where you're at now.
I appreciate the question, and absolutely. So I mean, I'm trying to think how far back to go, because as you know,
how old are you? Let's start there.
Yeah.
So did you graduate in '99?
So from chiropractic school, I started chiropractic school in '99.
Okay.
Started in '99. Gotcha. Graduated in 2022.
Okay.
Would have been.
Okay.
No, not 2002.
Got it.
See how that was a long time I was in school for.
Because you're 51 too,
51,
right?
correct.
Yep, same.
And so chiropractic is something that I think I was very interested in high school. I had a back injury. In fact, when I was going to a chiropractor for my back pain.
You wrestled, right?
I wrestled, played football, soccer, and my injury actually occurred not in sports, but while running in a rainstorm and slipping, and I remember falling on concrete.
Straight on your butt?
Straight on my butt.
Okay.
And I remember getting up and my shoulder was bleeding, my arm, everything. I didn't even feel the pain here, but it just like my back was just. So anyways, I was a young kid and figured, I'll walk it off, whatever. But it was just, it hurt for a lot longer than I expected. Started going to a chiropractor to help get through the football season. And then fast forward to when I ended up going to chiropractic school. I was x-rayed when you go through the school program, and they said you had an old fracture.
Spondylo?
Like, your back was broken, and they could see the calcification and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, well, that was the first time they said that. I'm like, no wonder I was in pain for years.
Oh, heck yeah.
But I started the interest in chiropractic by going to a chiropractor. And a couple chiropractors actually, and the chiropractors I went to actually did kind of educate about exercise, educate about nutrition, educate about lifestyle. So I really appreciated that because most doctors that I would go to did not. But I've practiced chiropractic, as like you did, adjusting.
Traditional
chiropractic, loved it. I honestly feel like chiropractic, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful professions.
I agree.
It's, you're able to, with your hands, lay hands on people. There's that intentionality that goes into it. There's the ability to, so when I first got out of school, I wasn't licensed yet. I was working in a clinic, and internship, and what kind of like when you're in that limbo stage, you're not licensed, but you're a chiropractor. So we would meet in this clinic, and this was in California, by the way. I lived in California, and we would pray every day before we would start working just for the day. Yeah. And the doctor I worked with, he would pray while he's treating patients, and
out loud.
Sometimes out loud. Sometimes I could just see him just kind of like in that kind of like meditative state, and I really got into the habit of doing that. Yeah. And I would do exams. I would X-ray people, and while I would I just started kind of would pray for the patient, because people would come in and they were, as auto accidents and other things, just hurting and pain. It's
an invaluable discipline to develop over the years, because your mind can wander
Right.
while you're in there with somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it keeps you in this present time consciousness,
100%.
which is something that I practice I've learned that over the years. Now I practice that every day, every moment of my life, trying to maximize every moment, not look too far ahead, not look too far behind, and just stay in the moment.
Exactly. And I appreciate that so much in that clinic. When I did get licensed, I worked in a clinic with 3 other doctors, so there were 4 of us, 4 chiros.
Okay.
And same thing, I continued the habit of praying. I wasn't not so much out loud praying guy. Unless if a patient was wearing like a cross or something like that, I would say, hey, you mind if I pray, for you today? Absolutely. But I just kind of would just like, for intentionality purposes, really visualize what I'm doing.
Yes.
Kind of just like, just put that kind of like intention and that just like purposeful energy, if you will, into that patient. And I loved it. I mean,
It's amazing how the outcomes get so much better when you're like that.
And to your point, so we were in a clinic with 4 of us. I was the young guy that came in, so I would cover for these guys when they're going on vacation. Hey, Jacey, I'm going to be gone for 10 days, whatever. And I'm like, cool. So, and I'm wanting to get busy, and some of these guys were busy. I mean, they were seeing like a lot of patients, and so I would just pull my sleeves up and just kind of get in, adjust their patients. And I remember one doc came back from vacation, and he was rather upset, and he called me in his office, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm just curious. I mean, there's some patients that you think, I appreciate you covering for me, but there are some patients that since I've returned have said, hey, you know what? I don't think I need to come back as often as you're saying. In fact, I kind of want to. I feel great. Right. In fact, other patients, do you mind if I see the other doctor? And I'm like, I felt bad. I apologized. Hey, that was not, I had no intention. I was honestly, if anything, I'm covering for you, I'm covering for the doctor. I checked my ego at the door. I don't at all want to in any way, steal patients,
Absolutely.
And so we worked it out. But a similar thing happened with another doctor.
In the same clinic?
In the same clinic.
Okay.
He wasn't as like, he didn't ruffle his feathers as much. He just kind of laid back about it. But he said, hey, man, this is a business, and we make money on people coming back.
Repeat business. Yeah.
And you know what? If they want to see you, you can see them. I'm like, no, they're your patients. But like I said, I was very focused on the intentionality, on even praying, on just like, man, I want these people to get better, and really just focusing on them. And so, fast forward, I eventually moved out of that clinic and did some independent contractor work in another clinic that was growing a practice. And I feel like, as time would go, I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. People are getting well. And, but I noticed I was kind of getting a little too hung up on, if you will, or focused on the outcome. Okay. To a point where, this might sound counterintuitive, because it's like we want people to get better. Right. We want people to experience healing. But I felt like I was getting kind of like a little too caught up in the method. Okay. In the process, whether it's my technique, my precision, my prayer, and what do I do to kind of like make this go the way I want it to. Okay. I do. If that makes sense, and so I was like, wait a minute, I'm not in control of this. Right. This isn't me. But I was not an egocentric, but I was making it about me, and so I just feel like the Holy Spirit's like, hey, you know what? I just convicted me, and it was an effort to become more humble. Okay. And I think that process allowed me to free up and like not worry about so much the outcome. Like if Nick is miraculously healed from this, so be it. It's not me. Right. It's you, and it's him. And so it took some years to get me to, but over, I guess, the potential idolatry. Okay. Yeah. Is what was in some form. Yeah. Is what I was kind of feeling, and I just felt like, okay, I was a young guy at the time, kind of picking up on this, and I just wanted to, be a little more intentional and a little more better steward of. Oh, go ahead.
Let's go back.
Yep.
So were you a man of faith before you encountered this first chiropractor? Or did he kind of introduce you to this model of laying hands on while you're praying, whether it's vocally or silently or whatever, and being in the moment?
I was a man of faith before, but never had I. Well, no, I take that back. That was the first actual like inner experience of praying in a clinic.
Right. Okay.
It didn't. I mean, when I was in school, it wasn't something that was kind of like kept separate.
Right.
But that environment was really cool. I mean, in fact, his clinic looked like a church. It was like kind of like that kind of. It was it was kind of cool.
Okay.
So it felt like we were performing some sort of ministry, and I mean, it wasn't like
weird, but
super weird, because it was X-rays, precision, marking them, the whole thing. But it was like, wow, he's praying for these people. He's like really putting a lot into this, and he was doing it for a long. He was very successful. He was doing it for many, many years. But it kept him, I think, in that moment.
Yeah, an intentional faith-based business model.
Yeah, yes.
Where faith and business, they can coexist.
100%.
And do really good. You can do the outcomes can be really good, and the incomes can be
absolutely
win-win. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But yeah, where did your faith? You've mentioned it several times.
Yeah.
You talked about being sensitive to the voice of the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
And where did you develop that? Because I developed mine when I was, in junior high school.
Okay.
So my aunt was a nurse. We had these cards, these vaccine cards that you had to take home. And you take them to your doctor, and they had to sign them or check them. I got this vaccine and this. So I would take them to my aunt, and she would just check boxes. I didn't get vaccinated. So then we got busted when I was in junior high, and I had to get caught up.
Wow.
So I got hit bang, bang, bang with a bunch of vaccines so I could go to 7th grade. And then out of that, I started a obsessive compulsive disorders type of stuff.
Wow.
Where you can't rely on your own mind to govern your life. So you have to rely on something else or somebody else. So that's where mine started. Where did yours, or how?
Yeah, so great question. So interestingly, so like growing up, I went to Catholic grade school, high school, and then in college, I got introduced to some friends that were meeting for Bible study, and I never.
At the chiropractic college? Or?
This is when I went to University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Okay.
This is in undergrad.
Okay.
And going to Catholic school, we didn't do Bible study that often. So started hanging out with this group of individuals. We started doing Bible study, and it was really, really cool. And we would pray, and we would read the Bible, and we would do the whole thing. And that is when in undergrad and college is when I started to really become closer to faith and develop a relationship with Jesus, and I did that around the age 20, I would say around 23.
So it was more of the community that you were affiliated with that led you into that, not necessarily a life experience, or maybe a combination of the two, but more of the community piece.
Correct.
That now has been woven into your operating system.
Yeah. Yes.
Obviously, at home you have how many kids?
So a total of 6 daughters. At home?
Oh, yeah.
At home, there's three.
Okay.
But I have 3 older girls that are all grown up, and we have some grandkids.
Okay.
And 2 of my oldest daughters, I would say, are a huge play a huge role and influence in the functional medicine piece, which is kind of where I guess another part of the.
We'll
story.
get to that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this chiropractic office.
Yeah.
And then we can get to them as we're going down this continuum.
Yeah.
So it took us back to the chiropractic office. Was it the second one?
The second one with a couple of the. So there's the one I told you, that the internship.
Yes.
Then there was the one that I was a kind of independent new guy, kind of building my practice. And had a couple issues with some of the other guys there with kind of stealing their patients,
territory,
that kind of a thing. And then I went and was an independent contractor completely in this other clinic that I really kind of grew a practice in. Is that the one?
Yeah.
referring to.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were. So I was really heavy in chiropractic, personal injury, trying to build.
It's still in Cali.
Still in California.
Okay.
Trying to build a business, and it was growing, and then I kind of like, after kind of hearing and feeling convicted with like, hey, JC, you're kind of getting a little too caught up in the results. You're getting too caught up in performing. You're getting a little bit too. It's becoming a little bit of an idol, and it's you're making it more about you.
Yeah.
With myself, and I wasn't like broadcasting this. I'm like,
no, this is your internal dialogue that you're having with the Holy Spirit.
But patients would say, "Wow, Dr. Folkers, I've taken my daughter, or I've been to 10 other doctors, and this one particular patient, that her daughter just had like chronic headaches, and no one else could,
Right.
even other chiropractors, and somehow she's like, she hasn't had a headache in the last few months you've been seeing her." It's amazing, and I'm just like, yeah, to myself.
Right.
I'm like, no, it's we're just helping her body heal.
Point them back to the principle.
Trying to go back to like it's the simplicity. I mean, that's why I call chiropractic simple, but it's complex.
Right.
I mean, it's like kind of both, but it's just like her body. We're letting her body heal.
Dr. Parker. I went to Parker. You went to Palmer.
So I actually went to Cleveland.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
And started the one in Kansas City and ended up graduating in California.
He always taught us. He was, I think he was about 90 years old when I was there. They had Parker seminars. I don't know if you've ever been to any of those, but he would always say, take no credit, take no blame.
That's the best. It's absolutely.
Take no credit, take no blame. All we're doing is just
That's all we're doing.
removing interference and let your body do it, that innate, do what it does.
I love that. And that is kind of like you get kind of caught up in the, we define success by, how do we define success? It's like, well, we're getting patients better, we're making money, we're, and it's like you can sell anything and call it successful if it's making your bank account grow. And
if that's your high priority value.
100%, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so,
As a matter of fact, I got asked that question the other day. So I had to think about it.
Which question?
The question of how would you define success?
Yeah, no, it's amazing because it's like there's so many different like levels of defining it, and it's pretty wild how like it's changed for me over the years.
Yes, it evolves, and as we evolve through the seasons of life.
Yeah, because at that time my definition was like, how big is my practice? How many people am I helping?
Yes.
How big is my bank account?
Right.
Like, those are the things like
That's it.
I would I'm winning. And then, so as I started to kind of like that time slowly kind of like humble myself a little bit, let go of my results, my performance.
Because that can also work against you. You can create this pressure and this stress that if the outcome is less than what you had hoped for, then all of a sudden it's all about you, whether positive or negative. So then you're under all this stress to perform. It's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Let me just do what we do.
And it's like, okay, I got to change this.
Right.
I got to tweak it. I have to, and it can be like, I got to pray differently.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? You start to kind of
I know what you mean. Obsessive compulsive disorder background.
But the focus is still on me, my striving, my performing. And then it took a while. And it took a while. I'm like, this is a never ending thing. So what had happened, so I already had a daughter that had some autoimmune issues, vitiligo, and she got diagnosed Hashimoto's. My stepdaughter, and this is around 2010, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
And it was like, I'm getting two of my kids diagnosed with autoimmune diseases, and then that's when I was like, instead of asking like, what is this called? What's this disease?
Right.
I'm asking why.
Right.
Why is this happening? That's when I really started to dig even deeper into finding those answers. Why?
Right.
Why? What's causing the body to attack itself? Why are people getting these conditions? Why isn't there an autoimmune specialist that like is looking at these whys? And so, and that's when I really started becoming a little bit more passionate about learning, attending seminars, learning how to interpret labs,
Absolutely.
learning how to, what are the labs are out there that are not being looked at or thought about or tested.
When it's a kid in your own home and you see how it's affecting their quality and potentially the quantity of their life, it's like, okay, let me turn over every stone and figure out what I need to figure out in order to figure this thing out.
100%. And the thing is, it's like you see what mainstream medicine offers, and you've heard it's just they're just like treating the symptom, not really looking at the why or whys. And that was like something like, okay, so there's some problems. Here's some blind spots.
That's one angle of it. Is that the other angle of it is I could be pounding bones and still not impacting whatever this disease process.
Correct.
I mean, to some form, there probably is some impact, but
yes,
I just need to start to evolve my treatment model in order to address a broader scope of conditions.
It's like as beautiful and amazing as chiropractic is, which it does some. It's like that's a piece of the puzzle. What can I do to optimize or address or look at these other areas? Is what kind of opened that door for me with that diagnosis. And I just started kind of getting really passionate about that. I didn't know how to apply it to a business model.
That's the key right there.
And so
because now you're spending more time with people.
And I'm like, how do I make this into something I can do and help people, but also keep my doors open and keep my lights on. So I was starting to do research and found some consultants that I hired and worked with to learn how to make it into a viable business. Yeah. And that's when I started learning out how to market it, how to get people to come in, and what tests to order, a little more what protocols I should use, and met some other colleagues that were doing these same things, and we would share notes and mastermind. Yeah. And so then it turned into like a combination of chiropractic, functional medicine, and just trying to like tie all that together.
Putting all the pieces of the pie together.
And that was kind of like the beginning of that.
Does that take us all the way? How long ago was that? And where was that? Was in California.
So the genesis of this process was probably 2010 to like 2012, 13, where I was really digging deep into it. I think I first hired that consultant around 2013, around that time.
So that takes us to when?
And I was shopping around. I was attending a lot of different conventions and
continuing ed, because you can't do all the stuff with just the limited knowledge base that you get from chiropractic school.
Right. And there were some pretty reputable supplement companies that offered education on like how to interpret labs, so I was attending as many things as I could. And then finally around 2013, I think I finally signed up with an outfit that allowed me to really kind of like take this into the practice. Okay.
And then at that point, I'm assuming that you started implementing these treatment protocols on your own kids first.
Yes, absolutely.
And what did you find as you're starting to find yourself in this new functional wellness direction as it relates to the results with your kids?
And on top of my kids, my wife was diagnosed with some autoimmune issues at the same time. So as a household, we all implemented these things. We started to. It's something you can't do overnight. We were trying to start to modify things within our nutrition, removing some bad things as much as we can. Not making it seem like it's like a complete, deprivation, throw everything out.
I get
but
it.
We started layering in better nutritional habits, exercise, sleep,
basic stuff.
Of course, chiropractic, and ordering some tests to identify certain things even
you're looking for deficiencies,
toxicities.
Okay.
Looking at inflammatory markers. We just started kind of digging deeper and practicing these things, and we started seeing improvements in all of us.
Okay. So take us, then at what point did you come back to Nebraska?
Yeah, so we decided that we were going to move back here.
Because you're from here.
I'm from
Your
here.
family's here.
Yep.
How about her?
So my wife is born and raised in California.
Oh.
And so to convince her to come here took a while. It was, and so, it took some convincing, and then we looked at prices of homes here.
Oh yeah, it was
compared to
it's a
there.
no-brainer. Where were you guys at in California?
And so we were in an area, kind of Southern California, an area called Temecula, which is kind of like between
I know where it's at.
San Diego and LA. So it was a nice area, and so we sold our house there. Sold my practice. I sold the house first, moved here, and it was around 2000, end of 2014.
Okay.
And sold the practice, and we all relocated here. And that's when I made a decision when I started my practice here to pretty much go 100% functional medicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means, as a chiropractor, what does that mean when you're as a chiropractor with what you know about the benefits of chiropractic?
Yes.
Do you layer functional medicine on top of that?
Yes.
Into it?
And so, what I mean by that is, if you, like, as you know, if you were to open up a chiropractic clinic up the street, you have to start with one patient adjusting to, I was just like, man, to build and I don't know anything about practicing in Nebraska. It turns out it's like one of the best states to practice.
Absolutely. Especially if you're accepting insurance.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wish I would have known that, because in California it was like
terrible,
very difficult, the worst insurance reimbursement.
Right. But
came here, I'm like, I love the results I'm getting with functional medicine. I'm not gonna basically market that I'm just a chiropractor. I'm marketing that I'm a functional medicine practitioner, but obviously we're doing chiropractic as part of the thing. And it just allowed for, with the model that I was practicing, a little bit more quicker revenue stream, if you will, versus like building.
And a broader community that you're, serving.
Yes.
Not just somebody that's has a musculoskeletal problem, but now you're, with your knowledge base and your experience, you'd be able to tap into these markets of these chronic disease processes that opens up the whole pool for, all kinds of people.
All of it.
And I'm assuming, I've seen a lot of your social media stuff, your marketing stuff, all that was helping you get some traction in that area?
Yeah.
Or did you have a coach?
Yeah, so we the coach, the marketing guy that we worked with, he said, at the time, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to grow this by doing educational seminars. And so that's what I did, versus, putting an ad up or, it's kind of, we did a little bit of everything, but which really drove the patients in was pre-educating. And the best way to pre-educate is, do a seminar live in front of a group. And that's what we did.
How do you get them to come to how did you get them to attend your seminar?
So it was a combination of newspaper ads.
So this is back in the day, the World Herald. Okay.
Which, by the way, just putting an ad in the Omaha World Herald is one of the most expensive newspapers in the country.
Even still?
At the time.
Or back then? Okay.
Because
I don't even know if people still get a physical
Probably
paper.
not. I was like, what? But yeah, people were getting this, newspaper, and I'm like, how much is it for a half-page ad? And I was like, okay, oh my goodness. So, but yeah, newspaper was a primary driver. Facebook, I had a Facebook marketer that was putting ads up, so it was a combination of Facebook and
Facebook was probably the only thing around back then, right?
And it was Facebook started kind of taking over.
Okay.
For our marketing. So the only different thing about Facebook is like you kind of a niche would kind of burn out if you're marketing for like weight loss for a while. It just wouldn't do so. And then we would transition from weight loss to hypothyroidism,
absolutely,
to autoimmunity, to digestive issues, and that would kind of get people to come to our seminars,
sure,
to pre-educate, get people to come into our clinic, sit down, listen to them, order tests, put them on a program, and that was kind of
that's awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah. Okay, so then that takes us what, to 2020?
So let's go to, well, you know what? Let's talk about, I want to say around, in that time frame, around 2017, 18-ish, I sustained about 2017, a serious neck injury. I'm a chiropractor.
Okay.
And I had and this injury originally happened around 2006.
Okay.
But it was horrible. Disc herniation, and you could, right side, C6, miserable.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Same thing to me. I slipped on the ice and did the same thing, and I still got the disc and everything. And that's what kind of forced me to retire was the physical.
Is that right?
Bending over the table every day, all day long.
So this is a good lesson for you, and you can identify with this. In 2017, something just happened. I don't even know if it was like a workout I did or whatever, but that C6, it turned into, I had 3 disc herniations.
Okay.
It was like boom, boom, boom. And I didn't know the human body could create that much pain.
Oh, down the arm? Or
down the arm, the neck, the arm.
Oh, yeah.
I had so
you
much
ain't sleeping.
no sleep.
Right.
I had so much atrophy, so much pain, and like talk about like the humility and humble. I was like stuck in like this flex position for months, and I gained, if anything, if there's a lesson in this, I gained so much empathy for people in pain, and had I mean, I had consultation with surgeons. They said, "Oh, we'll do this surgical technique." Another guy over here, neurosurgeon, we'll do this surgical technique. We'll go in through the front. We'll go in through the back. We'll do a discectomy. We'll take bone from your hip. I'm listening to all these things, and I'm like, you know what? Whoa. So this injury and how debilitating it was brought me back to the drawing board of like, I'm a patient now.
Right.
What would I do if I'm listening to me?
Now you're listening to your own sermon.
Yeah,
How am I going to respond?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so I started first removing anything inflammatory from my life, nutrition-wise, even like, I just everything. I started
Carbohydrates.
Yeah, sugar,
everything.
preservatives. I would research any kind of even caffeine. I mean, I just was cutting everything out. Anything acidic, anything inflammatory.
Because you're still having to go into the office and adjust patients during this time.
I'm still talking to people. I'm like, hey Nick, so hey buddy, let's see how you're doing today. And I mean, I'm just like, can you turn your neck? I'm like examining people's necks. I can't even turn mine.
Right.
I couldn't.
You're literally fighting for your life here.
It was horrible. And I
been there.
You said you can't sleep. I would literally, in between patients, just be sitting in my chair and just pass out.
Right.
From not being able to sleep and just being in okay, I'm kind of comfortable right there.
And you're just looking for any sense of relief in any form for any amount of time.
So I started just to kind of dig deep into the vault of like, what can I do to heal my body? Prayer.
So you didn't go down the road of the medication.
I did do a Medro dose pack.
What's that?
It's an oral
Anti?
It's an oral corticosteroid.
Okay.
It's oral steroid. I did do that. I kind of felt like it took the pain from like a 10 to like
so you could sleep
like
a little
a 9.5.
bit.
If I didn't do much, but it was like I'm like, oh, I think I feel like a little bit of it. But it just I bought a red light laser unit. I started a decompression traction device. I mean, I started doing peptides.
Okay.
I started injecting peptides. BPC 157,
Wow.
GB 500.
Okay.
I eventually did stem cells in my neck. So I did all these different things. You name it. I tried it. Everything that was pretty much alternative.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I want to do anything to basically not have surgery.
Right.
And slowly but surely, in prayer, my neck started to get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. But at the time, I mean, I couldn't do a single push-up.
Well, you had no strength in your arm.
No, I couldn't. Yeah. It wouldn't even like activate.
Right.
I remember like trying to do the pec deck thing at the gym.
You got nothing.
Like, and this arm would move, and this one just like wouldn't even.
You got nothing.
It was so dips. I'm like, can I do a dip? I used to be able to do those really well, like back in the day, and I'm like, nope, couldn't even do a dip.
Nothing.
So then, as my, I think you'll appreciate this, and as my strength and my pain started going down, I was able to do a couple push-ups.
Okay.
Like, oh, cool. I was able to do one dip. And I started to use that exercise for some reason as like the barometer of like my improvement. And so like 2018, I'm like, okay, I'm doing 5 dips, I'm doing 10 dips. And as time went on, 2000, and I really, by the way, I started getting really into the regenerative medicine.
Yeah, because something was working, right?
Yes.
Something was helping you.
Yes.
Maybe it was the cocktail of everything.
The cocktail of everything.
Something was benefiting.
I started getting really passionate about these peptides, about exosomes, regenerative medicine, like stem cell products and things like that. And I wanted to help people with these things because like the pain I had, the amount of like lack of function I had, like this is horrific, and I want to introduce this and help other people.
Right.
But in my own journey, I'm feeling the healing. I'm loving it. I'm like, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting okay. Well, then it got to a point around 2019 2000, where I was able to do like sets of over 100 dips or more. And,
Wow.
and my brother, one time, he happened to buy a Guinness Book of World Record book for my nephew for Christmas. He's like, hey, Jay, how many dips do you say you can do now? I'm like, I don't know, 120 or whatever. And he's like, I was like just determined to just keep healing. And when the thing is, when you have that kind of pain, when you go to the gym, the kind of pain at the gym that you create, like from a workout, is nothing compared to the whole contrast was going through what I went through. Was like, this is nothing. This is temporary.
Right.
But I looked up the world record for dips in 1 minute with a 60-pound backpack, and I started training for that.
Okay.
Just for the for the heck of it. And then during COVID, I actually did beat it a few times. But I went online and I applied to the Guinness Book of World Records.
Really?
I had a date where
awesome.
I could like record it, but due to the logistics, it was kind of at that time they couldn't you could pay like $15,000 to have a guy come out and like watch you.
No, we're good.
And I'm like, but I broke it a few times, and I was like, wow, this is like something pretty cool. But I mean, it just goes to show you the possibility of the human body.
Sure.
When you start to remove interferences, address all these things with inflammation, start to just be positive and
Toxicities and deficiencies, whether mentally or physically.
all of them,
Spiritually.
all of them. And I was blown away even more at how the body could heal. And on the chiropractic, the functional medicine, now the regenerative medicine. Let's start to blend all these things together.
And you have firsthand experience of how these things can come together. So all these things can come together and work for the good of the individual.
Well, the thing is, like, as you can see, the steps and the trajectory of like my career and the thing, none of it is anything that I was strategic. None of it is nothing I whiteboarded out. Like, it was just like based on just like life experiences.
I think we would call that the refiner's fire.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's like it's like I turned so many of these like struggles and difficulties into something that's like, how can I help people with this?
Well, a lot of us aren't able to do that. What would you attribute your ability to turn those struggles or those tests into, you call it testimony, or into triumph? And how were you able to endure to the point of a victory or a triumph or a outcome? Yeah,
I mean, it was so tough because I'm guilty of certain areas of still kind of like how do I get out of this?
Right.
But I think with me, it's kind of if I reflect back on it, sometimes I felt like I've identified like I'm operating in a couple areas with even chiropractic of either fear or performance or ego, and so. Fear was like just self-assessing. Like I feel like I'm afraid if I don't get an outcome.
Right.
If I don't get this, or performance is like, what? I'm striving to get this to work this way, and ego is like my title, my reputation, and I think I chose to let go of that, and then it frees you up to just go.
Right.
And I'm telling you, fear, performance, ego will hold you back from these other things.
How did you deal with that? Or life kind of dealt with it for you? Because it's all a setup for us to develop this intimacy with the Father through 100%. The Holy Spirit.
And it's like the saying where it's like, it's the blessings were the trials.
Right.
It's like, and it's like certain ones, where I'm in a profession where my profession is that of like, I want to improve your health, and then my health gets bam,
right,
and then my child's health gets bam,
right,
and I'm like, whoa,
right.
So it's like I think a lot of people go through life and they don't really maybe experience those kind of specific trials, but I think because of the pain I had, I became so empathetic for other people, like wow, but then I was able to overcome it by the grace of God, and other people don't.
I think, and I'm going to challenge you on that, because I think people do. Some people physically,
I think
some people mentally, as you experience those physical traumatic experiences, other people have the same. And I've always been taught and believe it to be true that there's nothing new under the sun. It's just different combinations of the same old stuff. So whether it's physical trauma, chemical trauma, emotional trauma, addiction, relationship trauma.
Yeah.
It's just different combinations of the same old stuff. It's all about how we respond to that and use those to catapult us and launch us into what our specific assignment and purpose is for our lives. Because we can't do that if we don't go through the refiner's fire. We don't have anything to offer. I mean, that's what's kind of builds our.
I think I love what you're saying, and I agree with it. I think that at the end of the day, it's like where in those moments, in those transitions of this challenge, it's like where the focus is. Yeah. And I've changed my focus so many times to, like I said, for so long, I was focused on outcomes. And I think I feel like some people, and I was guilty of it. I'm talking to myself here. The way I kind of defined my faith was the outcome.
Yeah.
You
That got nothing to do with it.
And it's like whether it's like, I have so much faith that I'm going to be healed, and when I'm healed, see?
Right.
Whereas it's like, hey, you know what? Whatever God's will is God's will.
That's it. I mean, that's freeing in and of itself.
Yes.
Takes the stress off, takes the weight off of you, or takes the weight off of us, and just frees us to be whoever He wants us to be.
And to your point, like you said, like there's different like struggles, whether it's health, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, whether it's relational, whether it's substance, whether it's addictions of all kinds. I think the focus, where that focus lies, can oftentimes dictate
your path. Yeah, how to use your gift set, your skill set, your anointing,
which is the heart, which is the true meaning of repentance.
Yes,
is to change your mind, change your focus, and that's hard.
It is.
Like when I was in that idolatry phase, it wasn't like I'm over it every day. I had to no, JC, it's not about you. It's not about you.
Right.
For day after day after day after day.
And that never goes away. That's always going to be back here some way. I think the scripture refers to it as an iniquity.
Correct.
Like I'm bent towards this.
Yes.
Like for me, I'm bent because of what I've been through, my experiences and what I've been exposed to. I'm bent towards an obsessive compulsor. That doesn't mean that isn't who I am, but I have an iniquity in that direction. And it keeps me constantly relying on God to center myself, and you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's all a setup as far as I'm concerned, just to keep us close.
100%. And it's kind of like it even goes, it's like the middle one, like the performing, the striving. That can even be in a sense where it's like, if I do this, I'll lose.
Right.
I'll lose grace.
Yes.
If I do, it's almost like that, almost kind of like legalistic kind of like mentality where you kind of feel like you have to walk this fine line.
Yes.
And letting go of that's really hard.
Yes.
Because I've been there too.
That's a daily struggle.
Daily struggle where you're trying to just like, you know what? I know I'm not good enough.
Right.
I know I'm not. I'll never be good enough. But somebody did something that freed me of this. So it's like, it's not about results. It's not about worrying about the end result. Right. It's about just like, you know what? I'm going to steward what I've learned. I'm going to steward what tools I have. I went to school and now I can call myself a chiropractor, but that's still a man-made title. Right. It's like we all have the ability to offer healing, to offer love, and that's at the end of the day. I think that's all really what I'm trying to do is like the love has changed from like an adjustment to maybe some learning about some labs or trying to find some answers. Really, it's giving you or the patient awareness of like this is what's kind of going on under the hood with whatever, and these are things you can do. Yeah,
take it or leave it. I would consider that like revelation or illumination. Let's just expose. And I learned this early on. We talked about faith a lot in this episode, but for me, what hasn't worked is solely operating on faith and making decisions for me and my family and my house only on faith alone. I found out what has worked better for me, and I don't know how this aligns with the Bible, but I need to get all the facts first. Once I get those facts, then let me superimpose my faith or integrate my faith into those facts so we can get, rather than just a blind faith into something. Let's get the facts first.
Yep.
Let's get the blood work. Let's get the
Yeah.
x-ray. Let's get the MRI. Let's get all the facts. And then we can start to, in whatever form you're comfortable, apply our faith to the facts so that we get the outcome. Not that they're they can interface and integrate, and we can maximize our outcomes.
Yeah, and I think too, part of that too is kind of like to your point, like, gaining information, because people, patients, it's like we as human beings like to see, feel, experience progress.
Yeah.
And, it's like, you have some baseline labs of someone, you see like there's some things here, and it's pretty crazy because like there's a patient that I've treated, we're working with, he did a test. It's actually a genetic test, for example. And this individual has a lot of genetic markers that predispose this patient to a lot of bad things. Like, this is bad, this is bad, and the lifestyle that this individual's choosing to operate in and live is like basically changing the trajectory of his life, where it's like he's healthier than most people I've ever seen. Like, if you look at genetic tests, like, genetics, obviously it predisposes you to certain things, but everything he's doing is preventing all those things from happening. So it's like, it goes to show, like,
it's like you're turning stuff on and off.
Yeah,
you can control the switches.
You absolutely can. That's why it's kind of like, at the same time, you order a battery of tests and you're like, oh, Nick, you have this diagnosis. And you're like, oh, there you go. Right. So you can almost like subconsciously become that diagnosis.
Right, absolutely.
But
especially if you don't know who you are.
And it
takes us back to, it takes us back to Genesis 1. Did God tell you not to eat from that tree? That doubt.
Yeah, I want to be like him. I want to know what he knows, the kind of thing. It's just like we want to have control. But the thing is like we all have a body that can and will heal and will overcome things. We just kind of have to, I think, just kind of lean into what we feel is faith, but not on our own terms.
So now that we're here, we're getting close to where you're at right now in terms of currently. But how have you, I've always operated by the principle of preach the gospel at all times, but use words only when necessary, or when like you're asked a question, but obviously our actions and stuff, our countenance, our touch speaks way louder than anything we could ever say. But how have you, over the years, how has that matured or developed in you, knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, when to interface your faith with your objective findings with a patient?
Great, that's such a good question. Yeah, so here's where I'm at now. I feel like is a God thing in the clinic I'm at now, because of all the things I've done. Now I'm in an office where I'm able to offer so many tools for patients, be it like from musculoskeletal standpoint, laboratory standpoint, functional medicine, regenerative medicine. And I feel like because I'm able to meet patients where they are, it becomes easier to just sit down, listen to the patient, and without being too preachy, let them tell me what they want and what they're looking to do and where they've been and what they've tried. And we have tools and we have things that can guide them. And but it's, at the end of the day, it's you. It's your body. And that is going to do the work. And this is what God designed.
And that's just a flip. That's a complete flip from the way that you have been practicing the last 15 years or 20 years, I guess. Where so I'm just here to help your body facilitate its own healing process.
It is.
I'm not healing you from anything.
I'm just we're helping you and me learn what are some blind spots that could be there, because we are in a system where there's a lot of profit treating symptoms and treating which nobody likes symptoms, nobody likes pain, but like we're in a system that like caters to that, and we want to give you some tools that can help basically start a trajectory that gives you your life back and doesn't cripple you, but puts you in the driver's seat. Right. I like to say like for me, because I've been the doctor, I've been the patient, I've been the doctor. It's like the patient today, they become the doctor.
Yes, they're in charge of their own.
Yeah, and what they're blessed with was the body God gave them, and it can and will heal.
And that's some of the approach, or maybe that's the approach that you're taking now, is more as the innate,
correct,
the body's ability to heal itself, and we're just removing interference. We're just We're just what is it? Homeostasis.
Homeostasis. Yeah,
haven't used that one in a long time. But creating that, helping your body create homeostasis that can heal itself from the inside out.
I was just listening to a regenerative medicine podcast recently, and they use that word like 50 times. Homeostasis. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they're throwing that back in now.
So now, what regenerative wise? That's fairly new. Have you incorporated it into your current practice? So in what form? Yeah, so use the word exogen or
so exosomes. Yeah. So some of the products that we're able to currently use in the clinic, because this has to be administered like by a provider. Either you can do it through intravenous administration, exosomes, inject into the joint like a knee. I had my knee injected just last week, in fact, a shoulder, hip, and also nebulize. You can breathe the exosomes in.
You can do 3 different forms?
3 different.
Or you do all 3?
Yep.
So you do it 3 different ways?
3 different, depending on kind of what the condition is. Okay. For example, there's a patient we're hoping to work with. She's had some concussions, she's had some head trauma, and dealing with some brain, issues with her ability to focus, her ability to, remember.
Right. So you wouldn't inject for that. That would be more of this.
So it's a combination of intravenous, which is going to cross the blood-brain barrier. So these little exosomes, what they technically are little molecules that are produced by stem cells. Okay. And they kind of are messengers. They kind of go throughout your body and will detect areas of tissue that's either inflamed, needs repair. There's something in our body called paracrine signaling. So if there's a tissue that's damaged, it says, "Come here, we need to fix down here." So they'll kind of migrate to areas of needed repair.
Are they pre-existing in the body?
They are.
Before this? You're just supplementing them?
Yes. Okay. So we're giving a max dose, because as we get older, our stem cells get older. Right. And as we get older, our stem cells are not as efficient as they were when we were like 2 years old, 3 years old.
Trust me,
I see my kids, they bump their elbow or knee, and they're like, "Yeah, it's healed."
Right.
If it's me, it's like it just takes a while. So so these are things we're putting in your body to help regenerate, because you can put it in a joint. It can help with joint pain, shoulder, but also with this particular case, with the brain injury, we're going to have a combination of nebulized and intravenous, and it will theoretically kind of help with any inflammation in the brain and also throughout her body as well. So these products have been around a while, but there's not a lot of. It's not like stuff that's covered by insurance, so it's not mainstream. Right. It is out of pocket. It is a little bit of a investment. We have ways for people to
got finance,
so it's far more affordable. I mean, we have people flying in from other states that want to have this stuff done because they've researched it. They know what it is. They've done it other places, and maybe they just kind of like can't find. And so it's becoming super exciting.
So how are you marketing those unique?
Currently we are not marketing it. It's word of mouth right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the plan there?
Yeah. So we have people that are that have had this done, and that
So you're just using social media testimonials?
So there are people that had this done. They're like, hey, you know what? Let's record what your experience was, and we'll kind of put that out. And and they're like, yeah. And then there's people like lining up that want to. I mean, I have people, even from my old practice, that like, do you know anyone that can fix my knee or my, or I'm scheduled to have a knee replacement. So just this is an alternative that has been shown to be very promising and has been, in many cases helping not just prevent a knee replacement, but restore like significant activities of daily living. I've had patients that they can't walk up and down stairs and they're thinking of moving to a house that has no stairs, and now they can. Pain going to the mailbox, and now they don't have pain. They weren't able to, ride a bike, now they can, things like that, play tennis, etc. So it's really been shown to not just help with pain, but improve quality of life.
That's where the value is right there. More life out of your years and years out of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maximizing those. But yeah, in conclusion here, I mean, you talked about some things that you've never shared before. Did we cover those?
I feel like the thing I have never shared before, which is probably that period of my life where there was like a little bit of that like idolatry. I mean, you're the first person I've told share that with.
Right. Well, I appreciate you doing that. And
it was just something that I remember you mentioned, like we were talking at the gym and that one, and you said you had a podcast, and I don't know why I was just like thinking, and I texted you. I'm like, you know what? I was thinking back over, there was that period where I was like, man, that's what kind of like got me to like really like slap myself out of this, like, hey man, you're not that, you're not such hot stuff, buddy.
Right. Good for you.
Yeah. And so, but it took a while, and I feel, especially after having children that have dealt with some health issues, myself having some health issues, kind of, overcoming them in a sense, and I just want to serve people.
Right.
I just want to be like, life. I mean, as you know, we're 51.
Right.
This has been like that.
Right.
51. Now, to go way back to what got me into even, I think, wanting to help people in general is growing up. My mom always told a story, because my mom comes from a family of 7 kids. Wow. And her dad was diagnosed with cancer at 49 years old. Passed away when he was 52.
Wow.
They removed the
lung. With 7 kids?
7 kids. My uncle was 8 years old at the time when that happened. So it's like hearing that my whole life, that like that is a possibility for any of us. Like we never know.
Right.
And so like I just want to, and he was just even my, everyone spoke nothing but great things about my grandfather, and he was a farmer, hard worker, and just was, life was cut short, and wasn't even able to see any of his grandkids to be born, kind of a thing. So it was kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay, hearing this, and like it really taught me to value health and value our time and our family. And I think one of the things that you didn't really ask about is like, when you talked about the social media, I feel like just, and I never intentionally like, oh, I don't want to be on social media. I love social media.
Right.
I think it's great. I used to
It's
post.
great. I don't understand it, but
but I feel like, it's easy for me to be more intentional with my kids and experience what I'm experiencing with them versus for me. And I enjoy I enjoy being goofy. I like to record goofy stuff, but I have to kind of get myself pumped up for it. I have to kind of rally myself.
For what specifically?
To record.
Oh, I hear that.
To record
That's every
something.
time.
To record something.
And I think, and same for me, doing a lot of speaking.
Yeah.
You as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not nervous, if I'm not nervous and I'm getting ready to speak, I'm in trouble.
I'm like, well, there's something wrong.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
But it's
every single time.
Oh, absolutely. But like even to make a little piece of content, I want it to be perfect. I wanted to. Oh, I got to do this, and I'm doing it like 1 take, 3 take, 10 take, 20 takes, and it's just like I enjoy doing it. But it's like I want to be a little more authentic, a little more genuine.
And never know. It's those organic ones that are raw that seem to do the best anyway. So it's like Forget it. Let me just be me, and then.
And some people are so good at just like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that guy.
No.
It takes a little bit more. So it's like, but I grew up in the 80s. We didn't record
nothing.
And we had
our camcorders.
We'd every once in a while, like, oh, there's that, fuzzy, pixelated of me, like opening a Christmas present. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, it's just, I want to be in the moment, intentional about like time with my kids. They don't want me pulling out the camera and recording stuff anyway. So I just kind of like, but at the same time, I love to educate people. So we talked about podcasting. I think that's something I could definitely see myself doing because I like to educate. I like to share things that could help people.
Absolutely.
And so,
I mean, it's a great avenue to get the message out and to build an audience.
I agree.
But I do want to cover one other thing.
Yeah.
You're 51 years old. I'm 51 years old. Give me some hot takes nutrition-wise. What should we be doing
easy stuff
through our 50s?
Absolutely. I'll tell you this. I think especially men, well, and women, but first of all, prioritize protein.
Okay.
As we get
in any form?
The cleaner, the better. Like protein to me is like, eggs, yogurt,
food,
meat, real food.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when we get in our 50s, even 40s, we are in a battle to preserve muscle. And our muscle is like that tissue that is going to tell your body to stay alive or wither. And so I mean, you see my dad.
I seen your dad
at the gym, 76 years old, and we work out like at least once a week together. He gets in there, and he's like my favorite workout partner. He's like, he gets after it.
Let's go.
And you know what? He's doing it. And everybody's like, how the heck is your dad 76 years old? Because he's eating the protein, he's prioritizing the muscle, staying hydrated. But on the flip side, alcohol is going to be the opposite to serve you. So there's not just like things to eat, it's two things not to consume. I mean, it's okay every once in a while, but I mean, the alcohol is going to never be your friend. Especially in copious amounts, but. Protein, man, I swear that. And then getting those micronutrients in. Electrolytes are huge. Being hydrated is super important.
Talk to us briefly about the peptides. They seem to be have they always been around, or are they making a comeback?
They've been around. Like I've known about peptides probably a lot longer than I probably should have, and I was getting them from sources that probably I don't even know honestly how I was getting them like a long time ago. But they are a huge component that helped me heal.
What is a peptide? Is it a powder? Is it like a protein powder? Is it in your protein powder? Or?
So you're thinking of. So a lot of people get that confused.
I don't even know.
No. So protein is a long chain of amino acids.
Okay.
A peptide is essentially a short chain of amino acids.
Are they the same? Is a peptide?
It's a specific chain. So like for example, there's a peptide, real commonly one known is called BPC-157. BPC stands for body protective compound.
Okay.
And the 1,5 is like, because it's a 15 amino acid chain. So there's different peptides. That specifically is derived from our gastric juices, secretions.
Okay.
And by taking it, you can take it orally. That's one you can take orally in a capsule. Okay. You can also inject it. Like I've injected my elbow because I have elbow issues, my shoulder. You can inject it locally into some areas of soft tissue, and it repairs. If you take it orally, it can help with digestive health. There's another peptide, TB500, thymosin beta 500.
So do you guys do peptide injection? Okay.
Yes. So we carry different peptides. I mean, there's a peptide that, to answer your question again, the specific peptide, this chain, it's like a messenger molecule that goes to your cell and it tells your cell to do XYZ function.
Right.
That's essentially what they're doing. They're signaling molecules.
Okay.
So they're specifically telling the cell what to do. There's peptides that increase growth hormone secretion.
Testosterone.
There are peptides that can signal the brain to release certain hormones to increase testosterone. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Insulin is a peptide.
Okay.
Technically, is a peptide. So it's one of my favorite because without it, my daughter wouldn't be around. I mean, it's like, so these are things that like I've been interested in, passionate about, learning about, because once again, as we get older, these things are kind of like not functioning like they used to. But you can, if you kind of know what a patient kind of like is needing, you can administer these things like we mentioned, my dad, I've injected his shoulder with
he
a
told me
certain
about
peptide that has helped him heal, because he couldn't even, like, he likes to bowl, he likes to do some, he couldn't even hold his bowling ball. Now he's able to.
So how about creatine and stuff?
Great. It's a great, one of my favorite supplements.
So
creatine.
what all are you doing? Let's just get
I kind of have a crazy,
because I don't have that knowledge base. And most of the people that are in the audience don't, but yet they're still looking.
I think foundationally, creatine is something that every guy and gal should take. It's great for not just muscle health, but also they're learning more and more. Creatine is good for cognitive function.
The brain.
Yep, good for the brain. Anything you can do for the brain. Let's see what else.
I was always afraid to get into this stuff because it would take time away from, with people, because you had to spend less, you would have to spend more time with people in order to get into this stuff. So I never took the time, didn't really have the interest, but I know the value in it. So I would just tell them to go somewhere else and figure this stuff out.
Yeah, it's exciting to me because it's, of all the things, supplements, there are supplements, like I've actually seen great benefits with like certain probiotics in people.
Probiotics and fish oil.
Yeah, you see that like change people's mood even. You said the fish oil and probiotics, because there's like the gut-brain connections so significant. But what I've seen move the needle more than I ever expected were peptides.
Okay.
With healing, with reducing inflammation, with there's a peptide known as Cmax. It's great for, I know we're not sitting here talking about peptides all day, but I love talking about. Cmax is great for focus. It's almost like a peptide version of like Adderall or something for like ADHD. There's C-Lank, which is good for anxiety. There's dihexa, which is another peptide that's good for the brain. Yeah, sorry.
You're geeking out.
Yeah. So there's all these things you can do, but to your point,
pretty amazing. Huh?
It's like these. Once again, these are things that like are in our body. God created these things, and once you kind of like figure out like what they do, you can create these cool little cocktails, if you will, that can like really do what you want.
What they say they're going to do.
Yeah, and I kind of like I don't personally do a ton of peptides at once. I like to kind of like go like in a cycle, kind of like, I'm going to do some right now for kind of like just my brain. I'm going to do a couple things for that. I'm going to do some things now for kind of like for sleep. So I'll do some peptides for a while for that. I'm going to do some things now for kind of like, it's the weather's getting warm. I want to look good for my wife. I'm going to try to do some things to kind of like look a little bit leaner. I don't want to rock the dad bod.
So those are the peptides. You're high on those.
Yeah.
Now this is the last thing. We're running out of time. Now these weight loss GLPs, whatever.
Yep.
How familiar are you with those? I mean, I remember the patients when I was seeing people a few months ago. They seemed like they were deficient when they would come in. And that they were wasting away.
Yes.
What do we know about these things? Obviously, they're effective at weight loss. They work as it relates to losing pounds. How about the long-term effects, side effects,
So here's, I'll say this. I personally don't recommend people to use these things long-term. I look at GLP-1s, they're amazing. As a catalyst, as like a tool to get you, a patient, over that hump. There are people that have tried everything under the sun to lose weight, to and maybe they've tried things and they gain it back.
Right.
These GLP-1 products are amazing because they can definitely improve insulin resistance.
Okay.
They can help with people that just can't control their appetite. I've seen it help with cravings. I've seen it even help with people that suffer from certain addictions.
Right.
Because of that same kind
of... Food addictions? Or
food addictions. I had a patient we work with on a GLP-1 that she's like, I don't even want to smoke anymore. I quit smoking. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Yeah. But to your point, there are people that have been taking these things aggressively and are on maybe a dosing schedule that's a little bit too aggressive, too extreme, where they are losing muscle. Once again, I never want a person to lose muscle. Mm-hmm. I want them to lose fat.
Right.
And what do? Well, there's certain supplements that you can take to help maintain muscle, but you definitely got to prioritize protein, keep exercising, make sure the dose is such that you're losing weight at a healthy rate.
Right.
You're
losing fat and not muscle.
Correct. Right? And so that's why I also like to incorporate certain scales or in-body or even DEXA scan tools to see where their body fat percent is, see where their muscle mass is, and monitor those things to do it right.
Right.
Because a lot of these patients that are taking high doses, they're not eating, they're losing muscle,
Right, wasting away.
And they're becoming deficient. And like you said, they're kind of like, that's why they come up with like the Ozempic face, where they're just getting sunken in.
Oh yeah. So what you're saying is, I don't know, maybe this is the design of the drug, is to go on it, but then come off of it, not to go on it and then stay on it perpetually.
I like to use it more as like a tool to
Initiate.
Everyone's different. Everyone's maybe their weight loss goal or health wise. There are people that need to lose over 100 pounds.
Right.
So you're going to want to approach that a little differently. I just think the more gradual dosing schedule seems to be safer. Oftentimes the dosing schedule itself is so aggressive that the person is like, even the thought of food's like,
Right.
But once a person gets close to their goal weight, because there's a healthy rate of weight loss.
Yeah.
And then there's like a not
Right.
healthy rate. So you want to kind of monitor this person. Once they reach their goal weight, my recommendation is to wean off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also while they're on it is we're focusing on lifestyle.
Right.
We're focusing on like, this is not a magic pill for you to just like take it. We're going to incorporate, because guess what? When people see, like we talk about results,
Right.
and they're experiencing like wins, they're like, whoa, and like, yeah, let's.
That could be life-changing for somebody.
Yes, let's start eating the food the right way. Let's start exercising. Let's move your body.
Right.
And that's when people are like, where they're like, I actually enjoy working out now.
Right.
But I want to build muscle. Let's talk about these other peptides.
Okay.
Let's talk about some other things that we can do. So it kind of oftentimes does function as a good tool to transition into these other products, but ultimately it's lifestyle.
Yeah. But it's an effective catalyst to initiate a cascade of weight loss that eventually turns into a wellness.
And I empathize with these people that have tried everything, and they've tried, I have friends that like, I've been working out and trying this for, 6 months, and they've gained 5 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's there's different hormonal cascades, and some people, unfortunately their body's programmed to, there could be something underlying.
Right.
We talked about some source of inflammation. Very hard to lose weight when you're inflamed.
Right.
Very hard to lose weight when these other things are going on that you're just deficient. So it's like, let's look deeper. But I do like those products because they have been shown to help people just like motivate them to really, wow, I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah.
What's next?
Right. That's life-changing for some people.
Absolutely.
I mean,
100%.
literally, they'll change their life if they see an inkling of light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
Which is a little bit of, the needle's moved on the weight scale. But I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been an engaging conversation. I really enjoyed.
What's it been, like 5 minutes gone by?
I feel like I don't want to take any more of your time. I feel like we covered a lot of ground, but we could actually pick this up and keep going in a different time because there's a lot more ground to cover.
Been fun.
But I really want to say thank you for taking the time and sharing with us.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I think I like what you guys are doing. I like what the position you're serving the community in, and it seems like it could be endless in terms of its its capacity to change somebody's life. So with the right intent, you have the right intent, the right heart, and you're going about it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I didn't even talk about too is like at the clinic I'm at now, which is exciting. Because we talk about IV administration. A lot of people don't realize this, but IV nutrition is also another thing that's become super popular. And in this clinic that I'm at, a lot of insurances cover it.
Now? In the state of Nebraska?
Yep, I didn't even know until recently.
Okay.
So
Me either.
People coming in, people can have a diagnosis of low energy, of chronic pain, of all, and there are nutrients that often have been have been found to help with those things.
That's awesome.
And so it's becoming more mainstream, but not a lot of clinics know how to properly, I guess, assess the patient, diagnose, and but I just had IV yesterday.
Okay.
Myers cocktail with some fun stuff in it.
Right.
So how to get energized for this podcast.
Same.
Yep.
But I really appreciate you taking the time. So fun. Thanks a lot.
Likewise.
You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up.